Jamar Chase, shiny new toy for the Cincinnati Bengals. AJ Green, goodbye. You've been serviceable for many, many years, troubled with injuries. He leaves behind 104 targets. Damon, because you have a baby now, and it's just about being a father and building chemistry and a relationship with your child. How much does chemistry, because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they played together in college. They were dynamic in college. How much does chemistry factor in to a rookie wide receiver and, a former teammate of his who's now the new quarterback of the, Cincinnati Bengals? Is that something that you consider when you're drafting or when you're considering, where you might rank a guy like Jamar Chase?
Oh, for sure. Especially when it comes to a quarterback and wide receiver combo. I think it's all chemistry. Like you got Brady and Edelman. Same thing. He just throws the ball up and lets them get it. And they know each other's timing to a T. They had 14 deep ball touchdowns when they played.
Yeah, crazy
yeah, so
timing,
it's going to be ridiculous. They're going to put on a show.
Yeah. And so there's a case to be made. Again, we talked about Kyle Pitts, and we're talking about Jamar Chase now. There's a world where Jamar Chase is going number one. Like Jacob said, it's 99 worlds out of 100 where Kyle Pitts is, one in the other one. But, I mean, it's about how excited can we get about Jamar Chase. Jacob, how excited can we get about Jamar Chase? Is there a world where he's like a top 10 guy? Like, there's so much hype around him. Like, I don't know what to expect, interpret, break it down for me, man. Like, what are we looking at when we get a guy like Jamar Chase?
I mean, to me, people like it's a no-brainer that you're taking him. Like, it's him or Najee Harris, depending on what you need when it comes down to rookies, positional players, right? And with Jamar Chase, look, they had his year 2019, he had 1,700 yards and 20 touchdowns with Joe Burrow. Like, that's insane.
That's crazy.
And chemistry is not going to be everything. I mean, he had competition for targets there too. Justin Jefferson was there. I believe, I think Terrace Marshall Jr. was there as well.
Correct.
So it's not like he didn't have competition for targets. But you got to think, so Burrow, he came in, he had a good rapport with Boyd. He had a good rapport with T. Higgins. It's not just going to be the Burrow and Jamar Chase show. He's going to spread it around. I think Chase is going to be the number one target there for sure. So to me, does Chase get into the top 10 wide receivers this year? Obviously in redraft, what we're talking about? No, but he'll be there. Maybe even next year or year 3. And look, Justin Jefferson was, and he's a rookie.
Justin Jefferson was an anomaly. Like, nobody was even talking about him.
That's what I'm saying. And this guy, and Chase is a better prospect than Justin Jefferson. So it doesn't always translate directly that way. But it's like, depending on your needs, it's not crazy to take him number one in a dynasty rookie draft. But also, I think rookies, like these top rookies, always get overdrafted in redraft. So I think people got to manage their expectations there in redraft, because I don't even know where to gauge his value in redraft. Like, he's probably going to get drafted before I have a chance to draft him in redraft because people are going to take him too high. But let me ask you guys, if you guys, let's say your team is pretty even, like you don't have a dire need at wide receiver or running back, and you have the number one pick in a rookie draft, are you taking Chase or Harris? Like,
I'm getting
who's the better value?
I'm getting a lot of very eerily similar questions today, and they seem to be, revolving around this draft that's happening May 31st.
Well, it's
Who
not
has
just
a first overall
it's not
pick
just for my own
sake,
because I don't think I'm in that position.
Yeah, I think Jacob is definitely weaker at wide receiver.
I think I need a wide receiver. So in my case, I think the clear choice is Jamar Chase. But I'm asking you guys, all things being equal,
I go Jamar Chase.
Who's the better player? Like, who's the better prospect?
I go Jamar Chase.
I go Jamar Chase.
He's in a better situation.
Why? Yeah.
He's in a better situation long term, right? So you have Najee Harris on the Steelers. First of all, Gabe pointed this out the other day, and I've said this a few times myself. I don't really trust anybody that's running behind that line. Now maybe they've adjusted, and maybe it'll get better. We know their passing attack is amazing, so maybe it just needs a good running back. The other guys were kind of just throw-ins. But I'm not like I don't know, dude. It's just Ben Roethlisberger's on the way out. And then meanwhile, you have 10 years of Burrow and Chase, or 5, 6, 7 years at least. Whereas like Najee Harris, who knows what the Steelers team is going to look like in 2 years?
That's a great point because wide receivers last longer than running backs. First of all, he's going in with Joe Burrow. They're both in their young 20s. This could be a 10-year thing where they're just killing it for the next 10 years. Where Najee, even if he is a top, he becomes a top 10 running back for the next 5 years, it's not going to last that long. It's going to be 5 years. We don't know the situation. Their offensive line is hurting, and who knows what happens at quarterback.
Yeah. And I think
Najee Harris, he's got a lot of tread on the tires. Just to touch on it, he's got a lot of tread on the tires, and he's not even a 5-year guy.
By the time 4 years.
By the end of his rookie contract, he'll be 28 years old. That's already, 28, 29, 30. Those are nearly the end years for most running backs in the NFL.
Yeah. So, Jacob, I think you spoke.
Is he 24 already? I thought he was 22.
So you guys aren't scared of the target share at all? Like, not at all?
For Chase?
Yeah.
Well, you got to think. What did AJ Green have? 90 targets, 100 targets last year?
Yeah.
And he's out. So, and those guys were there too.
And
so
Burrow only played 10 games, Jacob.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I obviously, if let's just say Jamar Chase, well, it's hard to tell because like you could say if Jamar Chase went to the Lions, he would get a ton of targets, but they're from Goff instead of Burrow. But if you could just say, no Higgins, no Boyd, just some scrubs there, and Chase goes there, then obviously he's a no-brainer, like number one pick no matter what. But that's the reason why you even consider Najee Harris, because you're like, is it going to be like 100 targets, or is it like 150 to Chase and like 90 to the other guys? So
guys, I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Let's hear
it. Prediction. And I'd love for you guys to, I don't know how we can book this down, but I think it's interesting. Jacob mentioned it's going to get spread around and Jamar Chase is going to be the number one target. I tend to agree with that to a certain standpoint. I think we're going to see very similar to Dallas last year. I think T. Higgins steps into the Amari Cooper role where he may end up actually kind of being the best one. We'll see just for this year. Jamar Chase is the CeeDee Lamb, so not far behind him, if not better. I think actually before Dak went down, CeeDee may have been ahead. And then Boyd is going to kind of fall off like Gallup did. He'll have his big games, but I'm not counting on him at all for season-long production. If I have him as a flex option, I'm okay with that. But anything more than that, I don't like him.
Okay, so really quick, it's great. I like your opinion, but I was literally going to ask the same type of question because let's play a game really quick, and the game is very short. Who had a better fantasy year last year, Boyd or Higgins?
Higgins.
Mm-hmm. Higgins. Yeah, they were one spot away from each other. Higgins finished 28th and Boyd finished 29th. Mm-hmm. So they were literally neck and neck. With that being said, I think Joe gave us his answer with, the implications of Jamar Chase inserted into this offense, who becomes, more irrelevant, Boyd or Higgins. We kind of got Joe's answer in, it looks like
I may be wrong, guys, but if I remember correctly, Higgins was way better to start with Burrow, and then once Burrow went out, Boyd started to kind of.
It wasn't way better. Boyd was still doing well, also, but Higgins was more like explosive and just bigger. And
I wish I would have looked at who was better, or I wish I would have looked at just numbers with Joe Burrow. But this is just season long.
No, that's fine.
With that being said, I mean, I like Boyd. I feel like Higgins and Jamar Chase, although not similar, they very much play a similar type of style. They're going to line up outside. Boyd, I feel like you can insert easily inside. He can run the slot. I mean, he can run the slot routes, and I feel like that's better for him. If they decide to move him, it makes him better rather than having to compete with outside targets.
What was your bold statement?
My bold statement is that,
it's a situation like Dallas.
Not necessarily, it's going to be Dallas, where Boyd is going to end up being Gallup, where you're not going to want to start him season long. And listen.
So you mean as far as fantasy production wise, because like Boyd's the slot receiver and then Gallup's like the outside deep receiver.
That's fine. I still think it's going to end up the same
like
situation.
As far as fantasy production wise.
And listen, guys, these guys are supremely talented. You're telling me you don't think Jamar Chase is going to have some time in the slot? Like, of course he is. DeAndre Hopkins has time to
Oh
slot.
no,
Mike
they're
Thomas
gonna
has time to
they're
slot.
gonna move around like
Yeah.
that. And also, Burrow was throwing so much last
Yeah.
year. He was throwing like 50 times a game or something
400
like that.
attemptions in 10 games, 40
And
40 plus.
I don't think their defense got much better. So
No, and they're going to go the most 3 wide receiver sets probably of any team. That's going to be 3 wide receiver sets every play.
they're going to be down a ton. Of course, they're going to go.
Yeah.
And you know what? I used to think that Boyd's contract's up, but no, they signed him they signed an extension for 4 years. So Boyd's going to be there for a while.
Yeah. Listen, I still think he's going to be good. Like, if you look at Michael Gallup, he has his purpose even in Dallas. There are games they relied on him, but I still think that Higgins and Chase are going to separate themselves from him this year.